guys, this is Guys and Gossip. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about England and why, for me, we've been so disappointed in the Euro 2020 tournament so far. So guys, let's start with our team selection last game. This game was obviously such a disappointing game against Scotland, obviously huge rivalries in the game, and it leads back to where Gaza scored that incredible goal. Obviously the two countries have a massive rivalry, and I think that kind of overshadowed the game on Friday night. Before I talk any more on this, you've got to respect Scotland for their game and how they came out and played. Obviously they did sit deep, but players like John McGinn and Billy Gilmour were all around the pitch on Friday night, and fair play to them. Obviously Billy Gilmour got man the match. He had a very good game, very energetic in the centre mid, running around, he was everywhere. And England just didn't have anyone of that calibre. So guys, Jordan Pickford in goal to start it off. I think he is probably our best player. Obviously he made that save from O'Donnell. Obviously a lot of doubts over him and Tyrone Mings, who has also been very good in the tournament so far. Jordan Pickford's distribution has been very good, but I think for Tyrone Mings, when he comes up against potentially the more nippy and quick strikers, he might struggle. Obviously John Stones had our best chance of the game, should have scored that header. Reece James, I think, was okay. I don't think he was that good. Obviously, he did that really good cross for Kane's shot when he was offside. Kane didn't have his best game either, but he does need the service, though. I think people are forgetting. And Reece James, he did put in one or two balls, but the best one was offside. Luke Shaw, I think, was okay. I think I would rather Chilwell in there, if I'm being completely honest. I think he's better going up and down the pitch. And even though Chilwell's just won the Champions League, obviously in a massive high, he's not even playing. Very, very strange. He wasn't even in the squad the first game. Mason Mount, for me, has got to be in that deeper position. I know he's very good as a number 10, but I think we have more players like Jack Grealish, who also could come in as a number 10. And if Mason Mount and Declan Rice, obviously their best mates, if they play a bit deeper, I think that might suit England more. You even saw in the Champions League final, the Havertz goal was made by Mount, and he was sitting in the deeper position. As if Southgate wasn't watching that. That's just a sign for him to be playing that number 8 role. Obviously, Calvin Phillips had an absolute stunner of a game first game. I didn't really think we needed him in our last game, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think we need two defensive midfielders. Calvin Phillips, probably the fittest player in this team, because obviously he plays for Leeds. I do think Calvin Phillips is a good player, very energetic, but in the first game, I think I saw something of their natural positions in the game. He was literally just behind Kane. It shows how high up the pitch he was, and I think him and Declan Rice worked quite well together in the first game. When Declan Rice pushed forwards, he stayed back, and when Calvin Phillips pushed forward, he stayed back. Calvin Phillips, I think he's a really good player, but I don't think Scotland was the game for him. Raheem Sterling, I think he definitely should have gone off. I really don't think he played well at all. His end product, I think, is really showing in this England team. He had quite a few chances to run at the defence, but nothing really paid off for him. Obviously, huge respect for him for getting us that 3 points against Croatia, but he didn't really do it against Scotland for me. Harry Kane, look, a lot of you are probably thinking I'm going to sit here and defend Harry Kane. Obviously, I'm a huge Spurs fan, but Harry Kane, I think he's been dreadful in the 2 games. Actually, no, I'll actually take that back. I think against Croatia, he was okay, because things people don't see is his off-the-ball work. Why do you think Sterling had all that space in behind? It's because Kane's dropping off, dragging defenders with him and letting Sterling have that space. But against Scotland, his touch looked off, his passing wasn't great. We can't put players and try and get players in behind when Kane is that slow. We're trying to put him in behind. It doesn't work with him. Phil Foden, I thought he was our best player. Southgate, we'll get on to him in a minute, but God knows why he took him off for about 60 minutes. Obviously, everyone wanted Grealish on, but I don't think it should have been for him at all. Foden, I think he has been very bright for us. He's the only player for me that's trying to get it forward. The rest of the team are quite negative, I think. Mason Mount, I thought he was probably our second best player. He played okay, though. He wasn't great. The subs that came on, we brought Jack Grealish on. I think for me, that had to be instead of Raheem Sterling or potentially Calvin Phillips. Yeah, Calvin Phillips for me, it had to be. Play the 4-2-3-1 formation, Grealish in the 10, Foden on the left, Raheem Sterling on the right, or even actually Marcus Rashford on the right, Jadon Sancho on the right, and Kane up top. Jack Grealish was quite bright when he came on, didn't really do much though, but the mood was very low. Marcus Rashford on for Kane. I know Kane was having a bad game, but for me, that was a really strange decision by Southgate. I know obviously he wasn't playing that great, but taking your captain off and leader, I'm not sure if that was a right call by Southgate, if I'm being completely honest. I think also with Rashford coming on, that changed the whole way of how we were playing. Then we were trying to get him in behind, but we weren't even playing the players to try and get him in behind. Our front three when Rashford came on was him, Raheem Sterling, who somehow was still on the pitch, and Jack Grealish. It just doesn't work. Jadon Sancho, he said today that he's managing him or something like that, along those lines. But 16 goals and 20 assists last season. You don't need to manage him. Get him out there. Get him out there. I know he's a bit different to Sterling. The fact that he is a bit more creative. Obviously, 20 assists last season for him. He's linked with a massive move to Man United. If that's not a sign that he should be starting in this team, then obviously try him out. Southgate, if you start him against Czech Republic and it doesn't work, then we'll accept it as England fans. We'll then say maybe, yeah, he doesn't deserve to start maybe sit back on the bench. But he wasn't even in the squad for the first game, let alone the bench. He didn't play 1 minute against Scotland. I think stick him out there. We may as well try. Obviously, I'm not blaming Southgate for this, but he says stuff like that Harry Maguire will be involved. He was sitting on the subs bench, didn't even play a minute. If you're going to have him on the subs bench, then surely he must be fit, so start him. If he's not fit, why have you put him on the subs bench? Honestly, some of these decisions are very stupid by Southgate. Jude Bellingham, for me, he has to be starting. For me, Jude Bellingham. When he even played that last 10 minutes against Croatia, he was very, very good. For a 17-year-old to come into that scenario, he's played in the Champions League. He scored at home against Man City. He should have scored away against Man City. He's so good, Jude Bellingham. Future England captain for me. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, yeah, I don't think he should be starting. I think that's the right call. Obviously, he's there as a backup for Kane. Ben Chilwell, very strange. Yeah, I think it's just so strange. The three he left out the squad this game was Saka, Ben White and Kyle Walker. For me, even though Reece James played okay, I think Kyle Walker with his prime. Look, Reece James is going to be the best right back for England going forward for years and years to come. But Kyle Walker, I think with his experience and his lightning pace, even though James is quick too, he has to be in there. Now we're going to get on to what I think of Southgate. Obviously, I've already showed what I think of him a bit. Look, for me, he's got one of the most exciting squads at the Euros this summer. You've got Foden, you've got Sancho, you've got Grealish, you've got all these young players, let alone one of the best strikers in the world in Harry Kane. But for me, he's such a safe and negative manager. For me, at the FA, for the last few times, we've had Roy Hodgson, such a safe manager, would do everything he can to please the FA. That's all he's really worried about. And Southgate looks that way too. Obviously, he's managed the under-21s, but I don't think he's really a risk taker. Players like Foden, if he didn't start Foden, there would be outrage. He had to start Harry Kane. Raheem Sterling, you could argue that's a risk, but at the same time, he is a very well-known player and he can play very well, so that's not really. He had to start Mount, he had to start Rice, he had to start Pickford, he had to start players like Tyrone Mings and John Stones because we had injuries. Southgate just, he confuses me, he really does. Southgate obviously didn't want to win against Scotland because if he did, then he wouldn't have taken off Foden and brought on Grealish, a like-for-like sub. He would have taken off Sterling, and he's kept on players like Calvin Phillips, who didn't even go off. Right, so obviously the next game, Czech Republic at Wembley. Obviously, it's another game at Wembley, and another one honestly, guys, we have to win this. If we don't win this, we're probably going through as second or third place, probably second place. We're probably going to have maybe an easier draw, but I think if we win, we keep the momentum high, boost some morale a bit, and we'll probably play against Germany by the look of it. If we win against Czech Republic, we win the group. Simple as that. Even though we've drawn against Scotland, obviously that's made England fans feel so down. But if we win against Czech Republic, then we top the group, and we can't really argue with that. Saying that, if Czech Republic win, they also top the group. If it's a draw, Czech Republic still top the group. So yeah, I think England will win this one. I'm going for a 2-0. Probably one of the only positives we can take from our two games is that we haven't conceded. But at the same time, Croatia will really pull in that first game. Scotland didn't really have much, and the chances they did have, they were missed. Czech Republic, I think obviously Schick, he scored 3 goals this tournament. He might be a bit of a problem. However, I think we will win this, courtesy of Harry Kane. I think he'll bounce back. I think he'll silence the haters. Because if Harry Kane is not scoring at this Euros, I'm telling you, England won't go far. I know obviously we aren't a one-man team and stuff, but if Harry Kane isn't up to his best, England aren't going to go far. It's simple as that. I think the other goal will probably come from, let's just throw a name out there, Phil Foden. He deserves it. He's been our best player. As long as we win, I don't really care about the performance. But when Portugal won the Euros in 2016, they finished third in their group. I'm not saying England are going to win the Euros, don't worry boys. But technically, if we finish first, then we finish in a better position than them when they won the Euros. But yeah, the main thing out of this, I wouldn't look too much in the performance against Scotland. I know it was very, very poor. We didn't even look like scoring towards the last 30 minutes or so. So obviously, for that game, I'm going for a 2-0 England win. But what will you go for? Because I'm going to link my social medias down in the description. And just let me know on Instagram. I'm going to put an Instagram post out there before the Czech Republic game. And you can let me know what your score predictions will be. I'll be very interested because obviously a lot of you might be feeling a bit negative after that Scotland game. Some people might be feeling a bit like me. We just need to get through the groups. And some people may still think we're going to go out there and smash them. But yeah, guys, that's where I'm going to wrap up the video today. If you're new and you haven't seen my face before on your screen, go and smash the subscription bar down below. If you don't know, boys, we don't like red round here. I've said this every video, but we don't. I'm a Tottenham fan. We just don't like red. We just don't like it. So turn that button grey. Also, can we get 10 likes on this video? Really happy with all the like targets that we've been hitting recently. Obviously, follow all my social medias. They'll be linked down in the description. But for now, I'll see you for another video soon. See you later.